How's it going, YouTube? Welcome back to Kitchen Table Meta. Now this is my analysis for the Dash Pack promos, which I thought were part of the actual promos, but they weren't. So if you watched that video first, I'm sorry that the Dash Pack promos weren't in there. But here we go. It's only 4 cards. This is going to be a really quick video. But again, I just want to get in and talk about these cards because some of them are really exciting. So first up, we have Fujino here to save the day. This is a 4-cost, 2 red, 20,000 attacker with double strike and a permanent that says if you don't have Sun Gohan Adolescence, what is this other thing? Oh, Sun Goten or Trunks Youth and Trunks Youth in your drop area, you can't play this card from any area. And then the auto says when this card attacks, if you have 4 or less cards in your hand, draw 2 cards, and this card gains plus 10,000 power for the duration of the turn. Now, this is a very powerful auto ability with a very restrictive permanent ability. And so this is kind of puts Vegito here to save the day in a really weird spot. He can be very powerful, but he's also extremely restrictive to play. And so you're going to have to jump through a lot of hoops to get him out. But once you get him out, he can be very devastating. And the reason why is because, you know, having 4 or less cards in your hand isn't going to be hard to do by turn 4 when you would play this guy. He's also, you know, you can just combo with your leader and get down to 4 cards very easily. And then when you do, he gets plus 10,000 power, which puts him up to 30,000 power, which is incredible. And then he gets double strike on top of that, and you draw 2 cards off of his attack. And so not only does he replace himself, but he actually nets you a card. And then if he survives, you can just do the same thing next turn and next turn. So I actually think this is a very strong leader. I don't think it'll be seen in the Vegito decks. I've heard some people talk about putting this in Vegito, and the reason why is because it's going to be hard to get Sun Gohan Adolescence, Sun Goten, and Trunks Youth into your drop area as a Vegito deck. But I think this card, how this card was designed, was to give a Vegito option to decks that don't want to play Vegito, and I think that's really cool, and I think they definitely achieved that goal. Now, with some of the Sun Goten and Trunks Youth cards we've seen spoiled, it is going to be really possible, I think, to fill out this requirement. I don't think it's going to be quite as hard as people think. Now, with the Sun Gohan Adolescence, we also have the new BCC promo that I talked about in the promo video, which is a powerful early play, which is, you know, your opponent is going to want to kill that to not let you draw a card every turn off of him, and I think it's just going to be perfect. I think if you do it right, you can really set this up to play this on turn 4 pretty frequently, actually, and I think if you do that, the card is extremely powerful. So for that reason, I'm going to give this card 2 stars and say, you know, this is a great promo, and I'm very excited for it. Next up is Rapid Onslaught Super Saiyan Blue Sun Goku. Now this is a 5-cost, 1 blue, 20,000 attacker with Evolve, a blue, and 2 on Sun Goku. Double strike. Auto, when you play this card, you may choose 1 card in your life and place it in the drop area. If you do so, this card gains critical. Now, the cool thing about this card is that it's a very powerful threat that you can get out on turn 3, and I actually am predicting that this card will probably be a staple in the Vegito deck because it does a couple things. It gives them an early threat, it gives them another Goku that you can play out as energy, you know, for your multiple energy, and it also helps that deck awaken, which the deck is going to struggle to do. Now, you can't do this effect every single time you play him out, unfortunately, but you can do some cool things like, you know, attack with this guy, awaken himself on top of himself, so you can like do it turn after turn after turn and try to get your life done that way. But honestly, if you just play him out on turn 3, use his ability 1 time, get critical, it's an extremely powerful card and something I'm very excited to see. And also, this isn't necessarily tied to just the Vegito decks. I think that's where it's the strongest, but I think, you know, even if you're just playing the Goku line with the blue Goku, you can search this out with him. He's also, you know, just an extremely good threat. I can see him being played in blue-red Champa because he does draw you a card from Champa and can take a life, help that deck awaken, and it's a critical threat. So this is a very versatile card I think that we're going to see played in a lot of decks. And also, again, even if you play him on 5, it's not the worst thing. I mean, double strike critical is an insane combination and something that is extremely powerful. So again, guys, very strong card, probably the best combo, the best promo in the dash packs, and this would be the one I would want to get out of my dash pack. So I'm going to give this a 3-star and think he's a fantastic, wonderful card. Next up is Power Stealing Cell. This is a 5-cost, 1 green, 20,000 attacker with double strike, and it says, with an auto that says, when you play this card, you may choose 1 card in your life and add it to your hand. I am sensing a theme. If you do so, your opponent chooses a card in their hand and places it in the drop area. Now, again, this is a similar effect to the Goku we just talked about, except he doesn't have a way to evolve, but he has no other restrictions. He's very easy to play. And so one thing that I'm going to talk about this card, and I think that I can see this card maybe getting a little bit of use in, is I think this will be a good card for the Cell decks. This is a good Android for the Android decks. It's, all that stuff is very apparent. But I think this card is also going to be pretty good in the hand destruction decks. It is a very consistent hand destruction threat that doesn't require any like evolves to be effective. It just can do its effect. Now, I don't think this is going to be good in the Vegeta hand destruction deck because Vegeta needs no help to awaken, but I think what this could do is open up a new kind of hand destruction, which is something I want to talk about and probably do a deck tech about eventually, which is the Android hand destruction, which I think has potential to be stronger than Vegeta hand destruction, but the problem is that they don't have a very consistent way to awaken. However, with this card, it really does give them that ability. And if you use the Android leaders, 17, 18, you only needed 2 cards to awaken, and so I really think that this kind of opens up that new archetype. So if you're really interested in running an Android-based hand destruction deck, or you just need another target for your cell evolutions, this card is fantastic and going to be perfect for that. And for that reason, I'm going to give this card a 2-star because I think it is a very strong card. However, its stats are a little lackluster for its cost, and so you really need to be able to take advantage of it in these different archetypes for it to be extremely powerful. Next up, and the last card we'll talk about in the Dash packs is the Powerful Bond Ginyu Force, which is 4-cost, 2 yellow, 20,000 attacker that has permanent. This card has Ginyu, Jace, Birder, Raccoon, and Goldo in all areas. And then it has auto. When you play a combo card with this card, choose all of your Ginyu Force in the battle area. They gain plus 5,000 power for the duration of the turn. Then the auto skill of Powerful Bond Ginyu Force doesn't activate for the duration of the turn, which is good because that's an extremely powerful ability. And so this is, again, cost 4. So it's pretty on curve with the Ginyu Force. We don't really have a 4-cost Ginyu that we really want to play out. Except the other promo, I think, which was the 4-cost Ginyu, which is very powerful. Now, the downside of this card is that it does count itself as a Ginyu, and so you can't use it off you can't get it off like Ginyu's ability. You can't get it off of Jace, which is is a very big downside. But again, I think that's such a cool balancing aspect with the Ginyu Force because I think as sets come and they start adding more powerful Ginyu to the deck, the Ginyu Force is going to be a very good like tribe is what we call it, which is like a themed aggro deck. And essentially, I really think this card gives it that extra boost that it needs because it is a little lackluster right now in set 1. At the beginning of set 1, I think almost everybody tried it and played it. It seemed fantastic. It almost seemed unstoppable. And then once we started learning about the game and figured out the mechanics and stuff, it became very apparent that the Ginyu deck was a little weak. And so I think these cards are needed and necessary. I love seeing Bandai release cards like this that strengthen current archetypes, and it just makes me so excited. I love it. Now let's talk a little bit about the auto ability right before we get before I rate the card. And it says when you play or combo with this card, choose all of your Ginyu Force in the battle area. They gain plus 5,000 power for the duration of the turn. Now, essentially, this is going to give you a smaller, tiny Ginyu that you can play out. So Ginyu's a 6-cost guy that does the same effect, but he gives all your guys double strike. And so what they did is they made this essentially have Ginyu's effect, but not give them double strike, but come out 2 turns earlier. And I think that's a good trade-off. I think it's very powerful. You also have the upside to combine this with Ginyu, and so you can play out Ginyu. I'm gonna make sure it's 0 cost. No, it's 1 cost. So you can play out Ginyu, give everybody 5,000, and then combo with this card on your Ginyu, and then give everybody 5,000 again. And so that's awesome. That's a great way to make this deck very powerful, and that's always been how this deck wins. It wants to put out tons of Ginyu on the field and then strengthen them with the Ginyu 6-drop, and then essentially swarm and like alpha strike you, which is to say they want to kill you with 1 big attack. And this card absolutely does that, and it gives them another angle to attack with, and it's very exciting. And so for that reason, I'm going to give this a 2-star. I think it's a very strong card for the Ginyu decks, but if you're not interested in playing Ginyu, don't feel like this is a card that you have to have because it doesn't really have any other uses outside of Ginyu. It is a Frieza's Army card, and so you can use it with Golden Frieza and stuff, but again, the effect is very limited and doesn't really do much for you. So, guys, that's it for the Dash Pack analysis. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm so sorry again these videos have been so delayed. Like I've said in all the other videos, I was super overburdened this week, essentially. The delay of the spoilers, plus family visiting, plus tournaments, just really put me super far behind. So I'm really sorry, and I promise I'll try to promise, but I hope that I don't get so far behind again, and I'm really sorry, guys. I really apologize. But anyway, thank you so much for your support. It means so much to me. I'll see you guys, I think Thursday. This will come out Wednesday, so I'll see you guys Friday, I think, for a gameplay video. So I'm super excited to show you guys the gameplay video of my Galactic Emperor aggro deck. I cannot wait for you guys to see it. Also, I have a nice little special announcement to talk about Thursday, which, you know, well, actually, I guess it'll be Wednesday whenever it comes out. But there's just something really cool happening for the Supercast this week. So if you guys know about that, just join us on Twitch. You can hop on over to KitchenTableMeta on Twitch and watch us live every Wednesday at 10 o'clock. I'm really excited for you guys to see, you know, our special guest. So anyway, guys, thank you so much, and I will see you next time.